A U visa is good for 4 years, and just filling out an application can delay or even stop deportation proceedings altogether. So not surprisingly, that's led to a flood of applications at CMPD, more than 700 so far this year. And we've learned that some of those claims may be bogus.
The investigative report from WSOC-TV in Charlotte, North Carolina, has flown under the national radar, but it speaks directly to what opponents of the president's immigration plan have long been saying. Illegals will find ways to remain in this country right under our noses, and the impact to local communities can and will be devastating. Welcome to MidPoint from Rockingham County, North Carolina, where he and others help to keep the peace. Sheriff Sam Page joins us. Sheriff, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you much.
Sheriff, when you hear that the president is going to push through immigration reform come hell or high water, and he's basically going to tell everybody else, fight me if you can, why does that scare you so much and make you pause about what can happen in your community?
Well, what's sad about that is the president, as the executive branch, is supposed to work with the legislative branch and the judicial branch, but with the lawmakers, it seems like he's just totally bypassing their process.
What has it done to your community when you talk about illegal immigration, the impact specifically?
Well, as far as estimates of persons being in North Carolina alone, over 400,000 persons that are illegal are living in North Carolina now, the information I have. And again, another part of this is with the illegal immigration process, with the human trafficking, human smuggling, drug smuggling, and other activities, and criminal involvement, we don't really know who's coming in and going out of our country. But primarily who's coming into our country, because our borders, I've been to the borders on multiple occasions, and they are porous and open.
Sheriff, I got to be honest with you. People right now will hear us talking to a sheriff in North Carolina, and they will say, wait a minute, North Carolina is not a border state, so it can't be that bad there. I would imagine you hear a lot of that.
I do, and 4 years ago I started working on this project when I got on with the National Sheriff's Association, working with the Border Security and Immigration Project. And pretty much I found out that, what occurs at the border doesn't stay at the border. It permeates and comes into other areas of the country. I've talked with sheriffs from different states, from here to Massachusetts and to Florida and other places, and we're all experiencing the impact. But, just in my county, in the past 4 years, we've arrested 15 drug cartel associates that in the drug smuggling business. Those associates also were armed with high-powered rifles and other weapon systems that could be used against the citizens within my county, if they, or law enforcement, if we encountered them. But that was 15 persons arrested that are directly associated to the Mexican drug cartel, and these are the guys that are in Mexico that are currently, well, you saw about a week ago where they've been tied to killing 43 college students in Mexico. It found them in the graves. I mean, the Mexican drug cartel, you don't want them in your community, but they are here. It's not when they come, they're already here, because our borders are so open and we're not tracking who's coming in and out of our country.
What about this report that came out of the TV station in Charlotte, North Carolina, where basically the police there are determining that individuals are, and they have this in court papers, they're trying to stage robberies and crimes in order to get what is a U visa because they have an upcoming immigration hearing and they believe that U visa is their ticket to citizenship?
Well, I have had, let me just say, I have had some applications for the U visa, but we do scrutinize the U visa. It was a process that was originally designed to help crime victims that are here in the country illegal, that have been victimized. And the other thing is that if a person does pass the scrutiny of our inspection of that investigative report and their cooperation during the investigation, if there is any deception detected, the HSI, which is the investigative side of immigrations, can actually cancel that U visa if they determine that. So there is a process, and there is a backup for investigations in case someone is putting out fraudulent information. But it was designed primarily for true victims of crimes being committed against them when a person is illegal in the United States.
I have about 30 seconds here. If the president does push through his immigration executive order, what, in your opinion, will happen to your town and your community?
Well, let me just speak big picture. If you saw 60,000 persons coming from Central America into the Rio Grande Valley of Texas, I would expect you would see an additional another border surge like we saw this summer. Again, when we send the wrong messages to these other countries, instead of saying, if you want to be an American citizen, if you want to follow the American dream, here's the way to do it. Instead of pushing out the right way, the message is being pushed down to Central America and Mexico and other countries in that area, is that if you can make it to the United States within a certain period of time, more than likely you won't be deported. And then the due process, you'll be able to stay here for years until your cases are heard in the immigration court.
Sheriff Sam Page, we thank you so much for your time. I have a feeling we'll be talking again very soon.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. A break and we're back, staying with law enforcement, Ferguson, Missouri, and the inaccuracies driving what could be an explosive situation.